Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. I just got done watching Rambo Last Blood. With Rambo Last Blood, we follow Sylvester Stallone, who plays John Rambo, one more time. It's been 10 years since the last Rambo movie, and he has decided to settle down on a ranch, training horses, while also getting very close to a grandmother and her niece. However, when the niece is kidnapped by human traffickers, Rambo will go full Liam Neeson to get her back. That's all pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. Now, the Rambo franchise is one I actually really enjoy. Saw them as a kid. My father showed me them when I was 8, just like every father should at that age. And even though I don't hold it to the highest standards like the Rocky franchise, one of Sylvester Stallone's better series, it's still very entertaining and reminiscent of the 80s action genre. Pair that up with Rambo that came out in 2008 was such a knockout for Sylvester Stallone. I was pretty pumped to see what Last Blood would be because I thought that movie was a good send-off. And I think they should have stuck to that one being the last film. Getting to the positives about this movie though, it knows exactly what it's going for. This is Rambo. We don't care if he's 80 or 20 years old. You know what you're in for. Action-packed, gory, bloody time, and it delivers on that tenfold, okay? This is probably one of the most grotesque Rambo movies ever made. And as a horror fan and someone who's noticing less and less grotesque stuff on screen, it was really nice to get that refreshing, over-exaggerated violence on the big screen. Even the red band trailer that's online will not prepare you for what you're about to see. You will get really grossed out. You will be squealing. Your eyes will be turning away from the screen just at the sheer level of stuff Rambo does to some of these characters. Attached with that though, the trailers didn't do the movie justice in how far it takes, and not just on the grotesque level, but in the sheer dark nature of this story. It really goes out there and is not forgiving at all to an old Rambo. The man still gets brutally beaten, his life gets torn down, and for a character that you automatically sympathize for because he's already had 4 other movies, you feel really bad for everything happening to John in this movie. And although Sylvester Stallone's performance had a rocky start in this movie, where I didn't recognize the character of John Rambo in this movie, and it felt more like what you see with Bruce Willis in all his movies where it looks like he's phoning it in, this character in the first 20 minutes did not feel like John Rambo that I've seen in 4 other movies. A lot of that could have been because this is supposed to be a happier, socializing Rambo with the way the last film ended, but there is a significant point in this movie where John takes out his knife and gets deadly serious, and then Sylvester Stallone's John Rambo comes out full throttle. Unfortunately though, that is where all my positives end for me, is that if you just want to see pure John Rambo violence, you're going to be satisfied. Everything else attached to this movie just falls really flat and generic. For one, I really wish Sylvester Stallone went ahead and directed this movie just like he directed the last Rambo, because unfortunately it is the directing that kind of hinders this movie. This is by first-time director Adrian Grunberg, and I can't put too much fault at him because it is his first time directing a big motion picture. There was just a lot of sloppy guidance in this movie where sometimes things on screen you couldn't even make out, going back to those shaky cam days, and even when you get the brutal, grotesque violence, it isn't always shot so perfectly where you can enjoy it, and it's done so fast where you can't enjoy every single body count that John Rambo is doing. This movie really lost that pacing and the build-up for John taking these guys down one by one, and instead takes out 20 guys in the span of 30 seconds by just jump cutting scene to scene. 1 minute Rambo's 10 feet over here, then we'll jump cut to him being 30 feet over here taking out another guy, and it's just like that. It's like Rambo has instant transmission in this movie. Also, the entire setup where in the trailers you see these guys follow John back to his house, or I should say his barn, and then John has a bunch of traps set up. The whole lead up to that just doesn't flow well with what we've seen with Rambo. A lot of these movies is just you put them in a situation and then it escalates hour by hour till John has to take these guys down. In this movie, it's the span of 2, maybe 3 weeks of John going back and forth different locations, and it just really throws off the Rambo vibes. And maybe they're incorporating that because John is old, so he sort of needs that time if he wants to win. But this just didn't feel like Rambo. It felt more like a rated R Home Alone. I think longtime Rambo fans will still get enjoyment out of this movie. I know I did. I had my girlfriend come with me and she had not watched any of the Rambo movies previously, and she found this one entertaining. And I can agree with her on that. It is entertaining, but if you're looking for that substance or that coup de grace for a character you've loved through several movies in the same way Rocky Balboa did for the Rocky character, you're just not really going to get that. You're just going to get another generic mission that Rambo needs to do, and the movie will end. For Rambo, I am going to give action 3.5 stars. I was really hoping to give it 4 because it was not holding back in the grotesque violence, but the directing of it and mixing it in with some of that shaky cam sort of brought it down for me. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. There aren't a lot of jokes in here, but there are some funny things that go down that might get you chuckling here and there. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. It's as basic as a Rambo movie as you can get. John is here, someone messes with John, John messes back. Horror in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars too, because if you are squeamish to body parts flying around, you are not prepared for this movie. And suspense in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Like I said, it's the weird buildup in the several days in between this war happening that sort of diminishes the Rambo feel of this movie. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B-. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-. And critically, I'm going to give it a C-. For Rambo Last Blood, I think you should wait to rent this at home.
Play the movie. Yeah, play.
Like, that's just my opinion on the film, guys. Like I said, I still found it entertaining. I still found it fun. I'd probably watch it again if I was flipping through channels and it was on. But I would say 2008 Rambo is miles better than this incarnation. Be sure to leave me your thoughts if you got to see Rambo Last Blood this weekend. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.